Welcome to Black Swan Outdoors. Today we are going to talk about wood burning stoves. I've got two different kind of versions of wood burning camping stoves. The first one here is a rocket stove, and the second one is a gassifying stove. So there are some differences about how they operate and how they work, but they both run off of any kind of biomass. So that could be wood, sticks, leaves, twigs, even dung, all sorts of different material that you can use to burn instead of using white gas, for example. The rocket stove, I've done a longer blog post on this stove that you can check out on the website, www.blackswanoutdoors. You can check that out. I haven't written too much about this, but I probably use this stove more than the rocket stove, just because this is a little bit heavier, bigger, more cumbersome. But I certainly use this in the homestead, and I like to use it. It is actually quite fun to use. But basically, it's a can inside of a larger, I guess it's number 10 size can, and then you basically are just cutting a hole, shoving another can in here, and then there's a divider. And so what you're going to do is you'll start your fire inside the chamber here, and then you're going to feed in this shelf down below. I'm sorry, this shelf up here, and then air is going to feed in through this shelf down below, so it's going to stay open. And what's going to happen then is, as the fire burns, it burns at the very top here, the hottest. And then around that can, inside this can here, you can kind of see a little bit, is an insulating material. So you can use a lot of different stuff, anything that's not going to burn. Perlite works well. I use Leica, which is an expanded clay material, just because I had that around. Gives it a little bit more weight, but it gives it a little bit more insulation, I think. So you control the flame by adding more smaller stuff to it, or you can have kind of a slower burn by adding bigger sticks in there. And then what happens is you just place your pot on top of here, and yeah, and then it cooks real nice. So you have a nice stable stove that you can control. So easy to build. I spray painted it with just a high heat paint, just because it's gotten a little dented, as you can see, because I accidentally ran over it with the ATV. Didn't see it, but this is super fun to play with and to cook on. The other thing about this, I put this baling wire on here so that I could lift it up and move it, and I found that I can move it into the wind, and it will blow into there much faster and get a higher, better flame. So you can kind of move it around. That's just something that I had done, but you can also carry it with you. I've taken this on several canoe trips as my primary stove for cooking. It works well. I just had a hard time packing it away, so I'd have to keep it in the boat, which I don't like unpacked things in the hull of the boat. So that's the only thing I didn't like about this, is that I had this kind of loose in the bottom of the boat. But it does work, and it works great. Very easy to build. Just wear gloves would be my only recommendation when you do build these. The second one is even easier to build, is a gassifying stove. The gasifier works a little bit different. It actually gasifies the heat, or the process, and you can go on my blog and it'll talk a little bit more intelligently than I can right now about how gasification works. But basically, because it's gasifying, you have near smokeless burning, so that's kind of cool. There's very little smoke also with the rocket stove as well, because of the high efficiency of the burning. But it's basically a Progresso can inside of a quart paint can, and then you have, if you can see, there's some holes in both of those, a larger holes and a smaller holes on the inside, both at the top and bottom, and those holes help create that airflow that's necessary to gasify. So because we don't have a feed port down below, you have to feed this through the top. And so then I use a tuna can that has an opening cut, and I put it on top of here, and then I can just feed sticks and such down below. What I've found is you get the fire started first before you put your stove on, obviously, and then put this on top of there after the fire is good and going, and then you can put your dish pot or whatever on top of here. It's not going to be as stable, so you do need to have a nice stable platform that you're going to cook on. I would say, I haven't done a timing yet, and I think we'll do a video of that to see which is going to burn faster. But I think it's on par with mini camping stoves, probably slightly longer if you got to consider the fact that you've got to, you know, collect wood and prepare and have that wood available. You do need quite a bit of small sticks or quite a bit of fuel available to feed. I have prepared a lunch once and actually ran out of meat, sticks, and had to go out and collect sticks in as I was cooking. If I had somebody else with me, they could certainly have helped with that. So that was kind of a pain in the butt, but something, you know, lesson learned. So super easy to make, very efficient. Generally, I've boiled water on this as most of the time of what I've used this. I have cooked omelets and other meals with this. It works. It works fine. And again, you can adjust the heat by adding smaller, drier stuff, or make it burn less hot by adding bigger sticks, or even wetter sticks too, that are going to not burn as fast and as hot. So you just have to be a little more strategic about the fuel that you're going to use. So hopefully that kind of gets you introduced to these bio stoves. The one thing I'm going to add to this, and one of the reasons why I built this particular stove, is that for anyone that's interested in emergency preparedness or prepping, and have a 72-hour bag or a bug out bag or anything like that, to me it's really hard to justify having a stove in that bag at the ready, and I don't like the idea of having a stove or not, you know, just relying on cooking on open fire, because it's not very efficient. There's smoke and that kind of thing. So these bio stoves gives you kind of a nice solution, I think, to that you don't have to worry about packing fuel and storing fuel in the bag for long periods of time. You can get fuel at the location where you're at, and you don't have to be cooking in open fire, or heaven forbid having to dig a Dakota fire pit, which is, I think, ridiculous. If you can have a stove like this that's super lightweight, no fuel to carry, and you can do anything on this that you can have in a fire with more efficiency. So I kind of like this for that as that solution. So keeping one of these in the back of your car if you're doing a lot of winter travel might be a good thing, or even something like this. But certainly something in your 72-hour bag or kit, your home kit, could be great, instead of relying on a barbecue or an outdoor fire pit again. So easy to get the fuel. So stay tuned. We're going to do a boil off in the next video to see about how long it takes to get water boiled between these two stoves. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and more is on the way.